Hi guys, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but if you can, let me know. I'm waiting for my guest. I just sent him an invite and he should be around soon. Okay, let's see.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
My check
Hi,
1 2 1 2.
hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, honey, I don't know what happened there. Sorry, everyone. Um, where were we?
I know this has been a hustle. I'm sure maybe next time we are going to be
We
better
will
at
be.
this.
We will be.
Yes. So the thing here is that so it seems as if men will never be happy with one woman. Is that what you're telling me? Like like it isn't the woman's fault. It is the fault of men. Men are just wired to cheat. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it's a good question you're asking. I'm not saying it's overly impossible, but you and I and other folks, we live in this world. And we're
Mm-hmm.
influenced greatly by the media, obviously, and
Yes.
movies. And there's movies out there with wonderful story about a man and a woman meeting and falling in love and being married for,
Ever.
55 years, 65 years. The Notebook comes
Yes.
to mind. It's a movie that was like that.
Uh
Um,
huh.
yeah, and that's all well and good. I guess what I'm getting at is it's like,
Yes.
remember, I sent that test subject about John and Mary Smith. I think this
Mm.
was a few weeks ago, and it's just a theory I had. And like I said, they had been together almost 80 years, met when they were small children, fell in love in high
Mm-hmm.
school, college
Yes.
sweethearts, high school sweethearts. They stayed married, so they they had two children and a nice full life. But as I
Mm-hmm.
said, he had his two women on the side. So,
Mm.
and one of them had a kid. These things are going to happen. But the wife character I talked about, my test subject, she played the long game. I'm not saying she wasn't overly happy, but she
Mm.
realized because she lives in this world. Hollywood makes it
Yes.
sound like that you can just divorce somebody at a drop of a hat. What they're forgetting, Rose, is
Mm-hmm.
compared to other people, normal people, I'll
Yeah.
say like us. I don't mean to assume your situation completely, but like us, normal people, you can't just get divorce somebody because
Mm-hmm.
first thing, what'll happen? It'll affect your credit score,
Yes.
whether that's
Yes.
right or not. And people,
Yes.
especially nowadays, they got to think about that. They have
Yeah.
to think about it. Sounds crazy because the movies are so over the top and right and wrong, and that's all good. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
ladies, don't stay with a man who's beating the daylights out of you. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's unrealistic to think neither a man or a woman is not going to meet somebody else in a long, hopefully married relationship of multiple decades
Mm.
and not even once step out on their partner. I
Mm.
just think, and I'm just trying to prove you can still have a happy marriage. We're not
Yes.
loaded. I remember one. I mean, I'm just saying, as normal people,
Yeah.
usually we don't got it like that. If we decide not to go to work, I'm just
Yeah.
talking normal, what's left of the middle class, for a month,
Mhm.
that could have serious repercussions on our financial and personal life. It just
Mhm.
could.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and I'll never forget, there was a there was a online psychologist, used to be on Sirius satellite radio, and I'm
Mhm.
forgetting the lady's name right now, but I want to give you this. She got a call in, a lady
Mhm.
situation. Husband had stepped out on her, and she's upset, obviously, and
Yeah.
she's emotional about it. Okay, she wants to leave, and this lady on the radio show, the host, she's
Yeah.
egging this woman on to do it, and
Mm.
eh, I'm like, and she mentions, hey, if my husband steps out of me, I'm out of here tomorrow. And this is
Mm.
the Hollywood lady, okay, the real psychiatrist, and I'm going to some hotel. Yeah, the Four Seasons. Well, we don't all got it like that. We can't. I'll be staying in my car if I decide to leave my spouse. I mean, as I would just normally say.
Mm.
I don't have a spouse right now. I'm just saying. Uh, I'm just saying that's the real people on the ground. It's not all Hollywood, but that's really the only example we have, unless we're going to school for it. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So yes,
Yes.
men are hardwired to see other women that they like. It's
Mhm.
just I just for ladies' own sake, you got to think to yourself, when you find out, let's say he's going out and seeing somebody, are you gonna blow up your marriage officially for this one time, maybe even two times? I know, Rose, and it may sound strange for a man to say this.
Mhm.
Um, I know I have my own rules, and
Mhm.
I'm not going to blow up my marriage for my wife
Mm.
going out one time. Come on, this
Mm.
isn't Hollywood. And I'm not
Okay.
even going to go maybe even three times over a period of years, as strange as that sounds, because I'm trying to play the long game. Yeah, I have self respect for myself, and there's a lot of
Yes.
other factors. But let's see, is she a good partner? Yes. Does do we get along just on the simple, basic things that people don't think about a lot of times before they get married? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have two or three kids together? Yes. Are
Mhm.
they underage, or are they older? Are they mid-age adults or something? No, they're underage, still in high school. Oh no, we're not each one of us going anywhere. We're staying here to make sure
Mhm.
these kids have something of a proper domestic life. And
Mhm.
then, yes, after the last one's out, hopefully gone to college, maybe
Mhm.
another one's married, then we could talk about, okay, where do we see ourselves in the rest of our life? Do we really want to be together, or do we rather just live on our own and just make things official and stay hopefully in good graces with each other? That's where you do things like that. This stuff about, yeah, it doesn't sound the greatest that men are out there meeting other women, but that's going to happen, and women are going to meet other men. Let's be fair.
Mm. Mm.
And now men may not like thinking about that, and then yes, our ego gets in it. Okay, I hate to say it, we're going to think this other guy is just this fabulous guy with
Mhm.
her in the bedroom, and maybe it's not even about that, and maybe that's even worse. So I hope I'm not too long-winded, but I, I
No,
just
not at all.
I, I just I just think people, especially in the middle class, we got to think hard about that. We're not Hollywood people, and that's what get people. Yeah, when you're Beyonce, you can put
Mhm.
up. I hate to mention it, with Jay Z's supposed, not, if we're to believe that what we've learned just on those sites, or
Yeah.
just on TV. Yeah, if you're Beyonce, because you don't want to mess up the brand. It's almost like what we saw with Will Smith and Jada Smith. I mean, I'm
Yes.
going to say something, and I hope people don't mind. You can just see that she does not want to be married to a man. I really believe
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
I believe strongly, unfortunately for her, that when she was
Mhm.
coming up in Hollywood, to come
Yes.
out as gay, or
Mm.
or lesbian, or just anything,
Yeah. Was
what she came
forbidden.
out in the 90s, right? Her and Will were big,
Mhm.
late 80s, 90s. Okay, you didn't do that if you wanted a career in Hollywood at that time.
Oh.
Today, yeah,
Mhm.
you can go ahead. Their children, they can live any sort of life they want to do respectfully. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
gay, and just
Mhm.
accept it. And what's
Yeah.
everyone going to do? They're not going to do nothing. But back then, she wasn't going to
Mhm.
get the break she was going to get. And
I
you could just
see.
tell she is a miserable woman. I mean, I, mm, I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw. Yeah, it's a shame to say it. Yeah,
It
because
is.
and then I guess what I'm saying too is they got the financial security
Yeah.
to go ahead and say, all right, I'm divorcing this one. The place I'm
Mm.
going to go live is going to be
Yeah.
pretty decent. I'm not living
Of
next to
course.
Harry, you know, for example. All right. I
That's
mean, I
okay.
live in an okay place, but I'm just saying,
It's okay. It's okay.
yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Yeah.
easy for them to come up. And that's what all of us, I feel, normal
Mhm.
people,
Yes.
civilians, quote unquote,
Uh-huh.
we gotta
Yeah.
we women shouldn't run too far in this. Is he good with you and the kids? Are you physically or even, and this is a slippery slope, mentally abused by him? And I think what I'm getting
Mm.
at is mentally is I'm coming home every day getting drunk and cussing you out. Unacceptable.
Mm. Mhm.
Unacceptable. He ever
Yes.
put his hands on you? Unacceptable. Ladies, you hear me
Yep.
say
Mm.
unacceptable. No way. Even
Mhm.
for the men. I'll say the same
Yeah.
thing.
So men
Okay.
get get
Yeah,
whipped
because
too.
we know that that's out there. Unfortunately, it doesn't get talked about.
Yeah. It
But
doesn't.
I just, you know, uh, men were hardwired. The bee, another good, hopefully good saying. The bee goes from flower to flower to flower. The flower doesn't
Yes.
go from to bee to bee to bee,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's unfortunate, ladies. Enjoy the good times, but when you find out, okay, he messed around,
Yeah.
I'm not too thrilled. My ego's a little bruised, but he's home
Mhm.
every day. No money is missing.
Mhm.
I mean, he has his own little money. Hopefully, the two of you are doing good like that. You get what I'm saying. Each one
Yes.
has a
Yes.
little allowance, and
Yeah.
nothing. There's no funny notices. Nobody's knocking at the door.
Mm.
Am I really going to blow this
Mm.
for what? Again, that's yeah. You're in Hollywood. I'll just make a movie tomorrow, and there's my $1 million. For
Yeah.
normal people, we don't got that to fall back on. We, we're
So
yeah.
so
Sorry.
are you saying that men who cheat are tolerant of their woman cheating than men who don't? If there
Well,
is a man out there who doesn't cheat.
yeah, and okay, and what I gave you is my example. For me personally, I know that's not a
Yes.
good majority of men right now. Let's just face it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, what I don't know if you heard this. There was a case pretty recently. I want to say it was last week, where
Oh.
unfortunately a lady was in with her first husband, a domestic abuse situation. She had gotten
Mm-hmm.
away from him, and she finally, and this was over a matter of years, and she went
Mm.
out on a date with a new man, and this
Yes.
guy showed up at the restaurant, saw them both in there, stalked them, waited for them to leave the restaurant, and shot both of them dead, and then killed himself.
Wow. Oh, that's
So
ridiculous.
that was awful. I think this was just, I know it was in the last 2 weeks, but
Oh,
that
wow.
in a way. Now I did hear a story, and I think this was out in Pennsylvania. There was a
Mm.
woman who found
Mm-hmm.
out her husband was cheating. She found somehow, some way, she found out where the other woman. Oh yeah, this woman was like big to do with an Ivy League college, like Princeton or something like that. Well, anyway, she found out where this lady lived, because remember, we're in the information age, right? And
Mm-hmm.
she stalked her, waited for her to come home at night,
Mm-hmm.
and broke into her house, shot
Mm-hmm.
her, and then shot herself. Now the
Yes.
guy's still
Yes.
alive. A lot of people may think, well, that's
He,
really
he,
unfair.
he will keep
Nothing happened
cheating.
to
He will
him.
keep cheating.
Huh?
He will keep cheating.
Yeah, he was probably. I mean, I hate to say it. I know it's terrible
I'm
to say.
sorry.
He was
No,
probably like,
this is
"Woo,
a funny
okay,
matter, but
next." Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
uh, um, and those two women are dead. So this happens. I mean, it just depends on the human being. Like I said, it,
Mm.
do I really want it to happen? No, but I understand my wife's a human being too, and that
Mm-hmm.
this could happen. And
Yeah.
I got to think about and weigh. And this is another thing that don't get talked in Hollywood. Again, the middle class has to talk to itself about this. Let me
Mm.
weigh the pros and cons. If I get up and get out of here, I'm virtually
Mm-hmm.
starting over, like I'm economically back at 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
virtually, is what a lot of people are saying to us. And you got to
Yes.
know that a Hollywood star or an entertainer, a sports star, is not starting over unless they have just ridiculously ran through their money, those
Mm.
millions. You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying? I mean,
I
that
get it.
yeah. Um, look at Tina Turner. That she
Yeah.
leaves Ike Turner, who set her up
Mm.
on her career,
Yep.
and she's still able to leave because she's Tina freaking Turner, and
Yes.
she sings songs that people are going to buy in the droves. Rest in peace to Tina Turner. But
I know.
I'm just saying, yeah, she
Mm-hmm.
can recover. A normal person. Um, Matter of fact, I think there's a movie out with oh dear, who was the lady that was in Tyler Perry's movie I Can Do Bad on My Own or something like that. Um,
Mm.
I'm trying.
I don't-
She came out one day a couple of years ago. She was crying about how Hollywood was so unfair, and
Oh.
she was crying. It was a live story, and she talked about how
Oh.
she really doesn't have all the money you think she has. She has to pay this one and that one and
I
a few other ones. She
I
was
didn't know her.
yeah, and I for the life of me, I'll think of her name later. But she's in a
Okay.
movie where her whole day goes wrong. She gets um, what is it? She gets thrown out of her apartment. She gets her
Oh, I
car
think I
repossessed.
know. Is it Taraji
Yeah,
Pearson
yes.
something?
And
Yeah,
isn't
I
that a new
know
movie
her.
that's coming out? And she ends up shooting her boss, and then her day is so bad she goes to cash her final check,
Yeah,
and
I
she has
think
a
I saw
gun that she
that.
just takes out, and they think
What
she's
is the
robbing the
name?
bank. It was
Yeah. I
ridiculous.
think I saw it. I think I saw it on Netflix. I forgot the name,
Well,
but
okay,
yeah.
Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah.
I but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, that happens
Mm,
to middle class people, not Hollywood
mm.
people.
Okay.
Again, Beyonce can afford to do whatever she's doing with her husband, and the husband the
Mm.
same. They're just worried about their image because their image would
Yes.
collapse with certain people if they're not
Mm-hmm.
together, as crazy as that sounds. Meanwhile, they're going to
Yeah.
pretend to have a life together, which is ridiculous. But that's just me.
Mm.
So, yeah, I think in certain circumstances, men maybe men are not as liberal as I am. Okay, and I agree with that. And we'll just divorce them. But they're expecting their. This is what men we have to work on. Okay, we're going to immediately divorce our wife for even flirting with a guy, and let's say
Mm.
it's more than that. But then we can have full blown affairs for 2 years with some lady, and we're expecting the wife to what? Just be like,
To
oh,
stay.
pat us on the head, like I said, I got a flat tire or something, and just accept us back. You and I both know that's ridiculous. Just to say that.
So, do you think that how you call it monogamy is a sin because it's impossible for men and women to stay monogamous? Do you think it's against human nature for us to practice monogamy? Because monogamy is definitely based on the track record of human. Monogamy is questionable.
Yeah.
Monogamy should be rethink. Like, do you think people cannot survive monogamy? People are lying to themselves by wanting monogamy. What are
Uh,
your thoughts on that?
I think monogamy sounds like a great concept. It sounds fantastic. And
Mm.
obviously, people have done it before in human history. There are people doing it right now. I just believe that
Yes.
it's, again, it
Mm-hmm.
just, it, it, it sounds
Yes.
great, but the reality is it's not
Yeah.
practiced as much. Again, and each person knows that. It just, because two people are, no matter how much they love each other,
Mm.
we're going to eventually get on each other's nerves. It's just going to happen over, let's say, a 40, which sounds incredible nowadays since people seem to be divorcing after just 2 years or 6 months or whatever. You get what I'm saying?
Or
Um,
48 hours.
yeah, 40, right. Or 40 years or 50 to 60 years together. And
Yes.
that's where both of you, both the man and the woman, have to play the long game mentally in their minds. And I do think it goes back to genetics. Yes, it goes back to genetics that men and women were not monogamous. I mean, I've seen and read different stories where uh, uh, these are usually fictional, where the human population has shrunk to a point that there's only a few thousand people left, and those
Mm,
thousands to repopulate the earth, let's say, I'm just giving you a general idea, cannot be
mm,
monogamous with each
mm,
other. The women have to have 3 to 4 children with 3 to 4 different men. Monogamy cannot
mm,
happen, quote unquote. Now, that's extreme situations of a short story I once read, but just to give you an idea. But I agree with that. And I think we're way too hard on each other to,
mm,
um, being ridiculous. Again, it's a fine idea. It's wonderful when you hear a couple. But again, I've been married and in a
mhm,
relationship, and I'm willing to
mm,
admit my own mistakes. Hey, that's pretty hard. As I say to myself, gee, that's pretty tough for a woman to put up with from me. So I
mm,
can't be too disingenuous and not put up with some a flaw from my wife. Come on now, I can't do that
mm,
if she wants
mm,
to stay with me. But we have to be in a way more understanding of each other. But I agree with you. Unfortunately, I don't think
mm,
monogamy. Now, still, can you be in a marriage for the sake of, let's say, your children, or just the sake of both of you? Yeah, we're not loyal together, but we still care about each other. And I care, Rose, if you're okay. And I'd rather be
mm,
here than living
mm,
outside and just causing an economic mess. Now,
mm,
maybe at that point we have good standards. We're not bringing a
mhm,
significant other back over here. I
mhm,
mean, trying to rub it in, okay, but we're not being silly either. So,
mm.
I, we have to learn better to play the long game. That's what we want to do. Better do, I should say.
So, I mean, so would you say that I mean, practicing open relationship is more ideal for this, not for this generation, but I would say for human being than being in a monogamous relationship, the quote unquote marriage?
I think an open relationship is more realistic for our day and age now,
Mm,
and at the information age.
mm,
And it's more, in a way, as strange as it sounds, respectful to both partners,
mm,
um, and just more realistic, because there's going to be people that you meet, quote unquote. That doesn't mean you can't be good to each other. Of course you can. That doesn't mean, again, as I just mentioned, you could still be married, quote unquote. Now, let's face it, we're not even talking about the other people we meet. If a woman I meet wants to even deal with me after a while, that I'm still married to my wife and she's just
mm,
the girlfriend, to put it
mm.
nicely. And even a
Yeah.
guy in another situation. Now, we're less worried about this as maybe women are. Oh, you just want to see me for pleasure
Mm,
and you
mm.
don't want to be married to me? Okay, good. Sounds like a good deal for me. And maybe most men would just take that deal. Yeah, as you know, most women are not going to take that deal. They're not going
I
to
know.
be the
Yeah.
girlfriend for long. There must be something that lady thinks that, and God knows we've done this, and this is why I don't like this. I say respectful when we're
Yeah.
telling a woman, and we know it's a darn lie. Oh, my
Yeah.
wife is the meanest woman on earth.
Yeah.
She's worse than Bin Laden. Um,
Yeah.
she should be arrested and thrown in prison. I can't wait for the day that we get our divorce finalized. Now, this is
Lying
normally
to
what
her.
this is within the first week. And then 5 years
Whoa.
later, the lady's got to wake up, really 2 years later, and say, the guy's still married. If this woman was
Yes.
so bad, why didn't you divorce her then? Come
You
on.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Men are hard to handle. So,
Yeah.
why aren't society receptive of a woman desiring multiple men than it is for a man desiring multiple women? I feel as if society is unfair towards women, whereby
Hmm.
when a man desires multiple women, no one frown upon you guys. But if a woman want to have the same desire or even attempt to practice it, people look down upon her. Where do you think this is coming from?
Well, again, we talk about genetics, and definitely, again, I think I mentioned when we started the discussion about the Madonna whore complex.
Hmm.
Where I don't know if you've heard of that one. That's where the
No.
mother, usually, or the grandmother who raised the guy, or whoever it
Uh-huh.
was, she's on a pedestal. She's Madonna, and your wife
Oh.
ends up being that after a while. The whore is the woman I'm going to go have fun with. As horrible as that
Yes.
sounds, that's an actual
Yeah.
complex. I've heard
Of
people talk
course.
about it. And
Yeah.
it's just that, oh, no, my good wife would never do that. She's too busy with the kids or too busy with the house or some, just we convince ourselves in our mind that that's it. We'll be the only ones out there messing around. My
Mm.
wife does it, and of course it's sexist, and it's not even realistic. And again, I, we just want to see people happy, quote unquote, and
Mm. Mm.
not as you well put, the expectations on a woman to be the loyal one and never see a man at all in that type of in a married relationship of 50 years when she knows and the husband's acknowledged, I'm out here with this other lady. I might even have a kid by that lady and think that,
Mm.
that the woman's not going to. I mean, that's us, and that's our want that we need to we need to work on as men. But yeah, it's unfair to women a little bit. And again, like I said, just to be like, okay, we live in a modern world, so if my wife goes out there, as long as we understand the importance of what we're trying to do, as in raise a child, um, make sure both of us are safe, so on and so forth. Great, fantastic. We don't have to rant and rave on social media when we see this because we were just doing it the week before. But of course, we're not telling you that. Whoever's ranting and
Mm.
raving on social
Mm.
media,
Mhm.
that's yeah, that's something we got to do better to get over as men. And like I said, it goes back to that genetics and that complex that, and again, a little bit like I said, bee to flower, not flower to bee.
Mm. Mm.
As,
Be the flower.
yes.
Mm.
So I wouldn't blame women for going out there, especially when she's already found out. Well, he's saying, "Now I'm going to go." Now let's face it, on women, though.
Mm.
Again, we talk about genetics real quick, Rose. Yeah,
Yes.
but women. Here's what women can't do. Okay, that we can do
What?
as men.
Okay.
As I'm talking to you, oh, I hate this lady. I don't like her, but she's a good
Yeah.
looking lady, but I don't like her. She's a pain in my butt at work, so on and so forth.
Yes.
Then the day
Mm.
comes, we sleep with her. The next day, I'm
Mhm.
telling you or a friend, oh, I still don't like this lady. She's a pain in
Yeah.
the butt in the at work, yada, yada. That's us as men. Women, when, as you guys know, you start
Mm.
the pair bonding ritual in a personal situation like that, and
Mm.
it can't be normally a man that you can't stand. If he was, what I heard that women usually within the first few minutes of meeting a
Mm.
man know already if they could see themselves with him, they can
Yes.
make that determination. Us, we're meeting a woman, we're like, oh gosh, what a terrible attitude. But you know what? She don't look too bad, so I'll definitely get with her one of these days. But ooh,
Yes.
again, you would never see. If, probably there's a lot of women who hear me right now be like, oh my god, I'll never be with him. Are you kidding?
I
What?
know.
Who does he think he is? Which I don't blame you, ladies. But, um, but
But then you are. Hey.
yeah, yes, yes,
So,
yeah,
so I mean, as I was saying, so so what you are trying to tell me, you are trying to say that men can never ever be sexually satisfied with a woman. It doesn't matter how beautiful this woman looks. You guys can never be satisfied with one woman. No, it doesn't matter if this woman it takes shower in diamond. Like for some
yeah.
reason, at some point you will lose attraction for her. Is that normal? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, yes, unfortunately. However, let me give you this caveat.
Mm,
So let's say me, just I'll use my for example. I'm not trying to beat
mm,
myself up. I have confidence in myself, but I know who
yes.
I am, and I know the
Mm-hmm.
way I look. And if
Mm-hmm.
Halle Berry came over
Mm-hmm.
here, my dream
Mm.
woman from all those years ago, just to give you an
Yes.
example, and she came here and she's
Yes.
willing to be with me, all this, put up with me, everything else, maybe not be too thrilled if I'm seeing another woman because of her own ego. And I get it. Oh, yeah, I'm reformed all of a sudden. I'm never seeing what other woman. I'm only seeing you. That's what, and
Mm-hmm.
how many times, to be fair, I mean, well, let me back up a little bit. That's where you see us fighting tooth and nail for the woman because we know
Mm-hmm.
deep in our heart and back of our mind, we're never going to get another woman who looks like this. Never, 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 never. Okay, as terrible as
Mm,
it sounds, again, we're visual creatures. But how
mm-hmm,
many times in Hollywood have we seen a guy who
mm.
looks like uh, just like what in the world? It must be his personality or something else. And the woman is drop dead gorgeous, and you're
Yes.
like, how did he get this lady? You know,
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, it makes no sense. But we because her a lot of times her beauty
Uh-huh.
also makes him look better.
Okay.
So
Yes.
maybe
Makes
people,
sense.
Chris Rock, Chris Rock, the entertainer, he's a brilliant
Yes.
comedian. Had that
Yeah, he's
show.
cool.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, he's good, but he's not
All
Denzel
that.
Washington. He's not some of
He's
these
not.
other. I mean, if he wasn't a comedian, what would he be doing? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
He would
He's
never be a
all
millionaire,
that.
and that's a lot of these guys. But they
Mm.
get away with it because the minute,
They're
and correct me
stars.
if I'm wrong, the minute
Mm.
another woman sees him
Mm.
with this beautiful woman, all of a sudden his value increases. It may be
Got it.
unfair, but his value increases like he's the dime piece of whatever at this point.
Mm.
Like there must be something about him, right? As each woman would say. But
Mm.
that's the only caveat. When I'm going to lose a woman, I know, and this again, all, all due respect to all women, and everyone's beautiful, kumbaya. But still, when I'm going to lose a woman, I know darn well I'm not going to replace the next day with another gorgeous woman. Because remember, and this sounds terrible, maybe it's just a man thing. Okay, so Halle Berry divorces me. Okay, well, the next wife for me had better be this what's her name? One of these. Just think of any. Darn it. It better be something in Hollywood, even 40 years younger than me, that looks real good. I'll put it to you that way. Because I got to
Mm-hmm.
keep up with the Joneses in my
Yes.
mind. I
Yeah.
can't schlep down. It sounds
Yes.
terrible. I can't
Men
schlep
are not
down just to
known
a
to
normal
do that.
woman.
Yes,
Huh?
I know. I say men are known to sleep up,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good way to
Because
put it.
of, yeah,
Yeah.
a woman's appearance. Okay. So are you trying to tell me that beautiful women get cheated on less than ugly women? The ugly women get cheated on more.
Good question. Good question. And I'm going to say,
Yes.
surprisingly, it's just
Yes.
about the same. How many
Got it.
times I say it that way? Because I think it was, you remember Christy Brinkley? She was a big to do model back in the late 70s and 80s. Gorgeous woman, even today. And I
Mm.
think she's in her 70s and she looks
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. I mean, she looks like she's 40 and she's
Oh,
70. Okay. And,
wow.
I mean, any man you would think would want it. I'll never forget, she got cheated on by
Yep.
her husband by some woman that was nowhere near as close at
Hmm.
just physically. Please, I don't
Mm.
know the lady's personality. Okay,
Yes.
I'll grant you that. And maybe in reality, Christy Brinkley isn't the nicest person, but still,
Mm.
I've heard that kind of about Halle Berry. I don't know if how true that is. I'd love to find out one day, but who knows? Um, but really, technically, I'm just saying that yes, they're going to get cheated on too, and sometimes they'll make. I mean, I could have just had the best physical relationship I ever had with my wife. She cooked a gourmet meal, baked Alaska for dessert. Just the wine was perfect; it was flowing. There's no problem. I mean, I have the perfect life. Then decide to tell her afterwards, let's say 15, 20 minutes, hey, I got to go run an errand. And I go out to Whataburger, for example, and I'm next thing I know, I've seduced the cashier, and she and I are in the car being together. And no way, this
Yes.
lady is like the woman I just left. But
Yes.
that's the nature of the beast,
Yes.
the men.
Yes.
So
The
I think
man.
it's more that maybe beautiful women want to admit, but I think
Mm-hmm.
they get cheated on just as much, if not more. Remember,
Hmm.
I remember Sandra Bullock the
Mm-hmm.
night she
Yes.
won the Oscar. This was about what 20
Yes.
years ago, and that guy
Yes.
that she was with was messing
Mm-hmm.
with that girl that wore a swastika. Remember
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh
Mm-hmm.
my! I mean, what?
Sandra is ridiculously stunning.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I was like, what in the world, dude? I think she'd won the Oscar, and within a
Yep.
week, and he had
Yep.
come with her to the Academy Awards. Within a
Mm-hmm.
week, she had found this out. It was big news. And I
Yep.
remember my wife, God bless her, at the time when we
Mm-hmm.
were following the story, because my wife was completely amazed. And when
Mm-hmm.
she saw this lady, she was
Mm-hmm.
immediately mad, like with me,
Mm.
you know. And she was mad.
Like what?
And you know, I'm like, I don't blame her in a way.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
she
yeah,
saw
yeah.
this woman, she says, I am never watching anything with him in it. If he's even at a commercial, I'm going to change the channel. If I'm in a store and he's there, I'm
Oh
walking
god.
right out the front
Oh
door.
god.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
you know,
silly.
you're just thinking, I don't blame her in a way, and but yeah, that's the unfortunate
Well,
answer to that.
well, Harry, I mean, I just want to thank you for your time, and I would like for us to do this again. I know you are
Yes,
a very busy man, and I mean,
no
thank you
problem,
for pulling up with all the, I mean, tries and errors. We have to learn through this technology, and why not?
no
I
problem.
really thank you for your time, and hopefully we can do this again on a very different topic. That is very interesting. I really like
Yes,
your open point of view. You're very open minded, and
yes,
I mean, your perspective matters because sometimes people have to hear it from a man's perspective in order for it to click. Like this is a man's perspective, not just a woman.
yes.
Talking or trying to
Thank
be
you.
petty. That's how come having you on here, I think, matters. And thank you so much. We shall do this again whenever you're available.
Oh, no problem at all, Rose. No problem at all. I
Yes.
can't wait. I hope to speak to you again on this forum. Blessings to you and
Yes.
everyone else
Yes.
listening.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Yes. Yes, sir.